Hello and welcome to the weekgate and final legislative update from the Florida Retail Federation. My name is James Miller, Communications Director for FRF, and with me as always is Samantha Paget, our General Counsel. All right, Samantha, here we are, day 60. Normally this place is crawling with people all over the place doing last minute deals. This year it's a ghost town, as you can see. Let's talk about what happened in the last 72 hours and kind of where we are.
Well, just for a brief recap for our members, on Tuesday, the House unexpectedly gavelled out sine die with no notice to the Senate. The Senate stayed in, continued to do some of their work, and there's been quite a bit of bitterness and acrimony between the two chambers, and a few barbs flying back and forth. The Senate has asserted that the House acted unconstitutionally. The House said, no, not really. And there's really not a lot of resolution. And you're right, normally by this time of the day, they're setting up for the sine die hanky drop. This place is crawling with lobbyists and staffers, and there's somewhat of a jubilant feeling to come to the end of it, or at least, just happy to be done. And it's, like you said, it's a ghost town. There's not a soul to be seen, and there's still not a lot of resolution for a lot of major issues for the state of Florida. Yeah,
and speaking of which, let's talk about some of those outstanding issues that obviously aren't going to pass this year, one of which is the big water policy.
You have been hearing from our Commissioner of Agriculture, from leaders in the House and Senate, from the governor's office about the issues with water in the state of Florida, and that was a big policy issue that they were taking up this session. And we have come to the end of this session, limping to the end, and we still don't have a great resolution on water policy in Florida. There was a package. Senator Dean had worked a great deal on it. It was also a priority for Speaker Crisafulli, and we find ourselves at the end of this session without great resolution on Florida's water policy.
Well, let's talk about two issues that are a little more important and closer to our membership, one of which is underground storage tanks. Can you talk about that one?
Yes, an issue that's of great importance to our Florida Petroleum Marketers Association and convenience store members is the issue of underground storage tanks. We have been working diligently this entire session to make sure that the state cleanup program is corrected and resolved and reformed so that it works both for the owners and operators of these sites, for the companies that perform these cleanups, but also largely for the safety of the people of Florida and the process by which these sites are cleaned up. And we find ourselves, just like the water policy, at the end of this session without a resolution. So we will continue to work with the Department of Environmental Protection, bring forward our members and their input, and try to get rid of whatever resolution and positive movement we can moving forward in the interim period. We haven't lost focus on this issue, but we cannot bring it in for a landing legislatively this year.
And another one is juvenile restitution. Can you talk about where that is and maybe what the future may or may not hold for that one?
That was one bill that really, it got stuck in the process at the end. Representative Eagle and Senator Dietert had a bill that would allow those who are victims of crime to get restitution from a juvenile's parents. For our members that deal with shoplifting and theft, to be able to get restitution is an important thing. So we look forward in the next regular session to supporting this bill. We don't anticipate that it will come up during a special session.
Yeah. All right, Samantha, let's talk about the potential of a special session where this place may actually be crowded and packed sometime in the next few weeks or a month. Can you talk about what you've heard and what might happen?
Well, we're going to have a special session. The chambers are constitutionally required to put forth a balanced budget. Right now, we haven't done a budget, so there's nothing sitting out there. So at the end of this fiscal year for the state, which is June 30th, they have got to put forward a balanced budget. And if we don't put forth a balanced budget, Florida's government shuts down, and that's just not a possibility and not an option. So you will see the legislature come back into session. There has been a proposal from Senator Gardner over to Representative Crisafulli to come into session for June 1st through June 20th to resolve all the budget issues, including the health care funding issues. The House has yet to respond to that offer, but we do anticipate at some point they will have a conversation, hopefully have a meeting of the minds and get called back into session. Politically and policy-wise, there's another option that the governor can put forth the call and bring them back into session. Now, just a little information on process. Typically, when you talk special session, you come forth to put a solution together. They don't normally gavel in for a special session without an idea of where that's going to end. So to come in without some direction, without some agreement, without some idea of what the resolution is, that would be very rare and very unprecedented. So our anticipation is that they will at some point have to begin talking to one another, have to come to some agreement, and be ready to work together in a special session to come forward with a budget that they can both agree on.
And speaking of the budget, obviously the tax package is included in that. We can kind of talk about that, what all that was included, what all would be included in that for our members.
And so the big thing is when you talk about budget, it's not just the general revenue for the state and how the state and its agencies operate, but it's all the allocations, it's all the revenue. And so there are things that are very big for our members. Let's talk about back to school sales tax holiday, like you said. Right now there is no budget allocation for that. For our members, that's especially concerning because for them to make inventory purchases, for them to make media buys, and to prepare, they may not have the advance notice that they need. So we are going to be highlighting that issue, calling attention to that, saying that our members need resolution on that as soon as possible for that to move forward. For the sales tax on commercial leases, that is still outstanding. And again, you're talking about a budget allocation. You're talking about general revenue that's being reduced in order to have that reduction in that sales tax. So again, that will be part of the larger package. So there's a lot of issues like that that are sitting in there, and though you don't think of it as the things that would require budget allocation, it is an important part of the budget, and certainly it's the part that we're paying the closest attention to.
Well, it's been a crazy couple of days, obviously this week, and I'm sure it'll be even crazier as we go along. As always, FRF will be there every step of the way, advocating on your behalf. For Samantha, I'm James, and you can always find us online at frf.org. And as always,
happy retailing.